Your credit report is really a character witness. In today's video, we're going to merely be talking about how your credit report is merely a character witness. How you doing? I am Raphael Byrd, and this is Blind Intelligence. This is where the rules, the rights, and the responsibilities put you back in control. But this is me put out the disclaimer. This is not legal advice, something that offer legal advice. If you would like legal advice, I suggest you find yourself a competent professional, and please be advised. What I'm about to say here today is strictly for education and information purposes only. And the views and opinions of me, Raphael Byrd, does not reflect any of the views and opinions that host Blind Intelligence. By the way, leave me a Cash App, just leave me a Cash App donation. I'll put it in the description, and let's get on with the video. So, your credit report is considered to be a character witness. And this is something that you, as a consumer, have to understand. Because employers pull your report, landlords pull your report, insurance companies, they're going to pull your report, and the banks, the banks judge you. They're going to pull your reports, but they are going to judge your character something terrible. They're going to really scrutinize you. They're going to look at you, very closely. They have the worst judgment. They have the worst judgment. But you got to remain in, you have to understand, well, what do I do to, what do you do to get those approvals? How are you going to get those approvals if these particular entities is constantly, judging you? Landlords might think you're a risk. An employee may have an adverse action against you. Your insurance company may go up based on what's on your report. And the banks is going to look at your character. They're going to look at your character. And believe me, when they look at your character, that could be misinformation on your report. They could be basing it on some misinformation. The banks, what I'm talking about. Because there may be something on your report that's not even attached to you. And that's the reason why I always talk about it is important that you clean up your personal information on your consumer report. Because if you clean up your personal information on your consumer report, I can guarantee you all of that stuff is going to drop off. For a case in point, if your name is John Henry Doe, then why is John Henry Smith is on there? Why is John Doe is on there? Why is John P. Doe on there? Or why you got Henry John Doe on there? Or you got all these different types of addresses. You never lived at those addresses. You never been to those addresses. And most of the time you don't even know where they are. The different phone numbers. Different variances of your last four of your social security number. Is that happening to you? See, how you combat this is this. You clean up that personal information. How you combat the banks, insurance companies, employers with the adverse actions, landlords with the adverse actions, is pull your reports, all three of them. Equifax, well, is that going to drop my score? No. No, it's not. It's not going to drop your score. If you pull your reports, it's not going to drop your score. Okay? Pull all 3 of your reports, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Pull them all. And spread them out and look at them all. Look at them all. If they're not saying the same thing, if they're reporting something that's on that report and it's not saying the same thing, don't have the same amount on it, you need to get rid of it. But the first thing you must do is remove all the personal information that's on those reports by just sending them a simple letter attached with an updated bill and a copy of your ID. I'm not so much, I've done it without a social security. People say social security, a copy of your social security card, but I never had to use one. I've always used my identification, and I've always used my a recent bill of some sort, and I got those removals. But then this is what I'm telling you. When you clean up all of that personal information, if there's anything on your report that you know that's not yours, it's probably attached to one of those names and addresses, telephone numbers. And what it's doing is that's merging your account, and what's going to do when you clean it all up, that's going to fall off. That's a fact. That's a fact. And you're going to have to understand. That's why I say always clean up that personal information. Don't even go into no disputing. Look, put the disputing documents down. Put all the dispute documents down. Before you go into any type of disputing process, you must clean up your personal information. Don't go into the bank trying to get a loan. Don't go to that landlord trying to sit down with them and try to get you an apartment, and you don't know what's on your consumer report. That credit report is very important. Credit report, I'm gonna say credit report and I'm gonna say consumer report. I'm using them interchangeably because they're the same. They're the same. It's a synonym. Credit report, consumer report. But that credit report, you must know what's on it. And this is how you don't embarrass yourself, because you're looking at the same thing that they're looking at. When you go into that bank, let's say for example you want to get a loan for a house, right? If you want to go into that bank and you want to get a loan for that house, they're going to pull your credit report, right? But when they pull your credit report, you need to be looking at the same thing they're looking at. You need to have your credit report in front of you. You don't even give them a copy because they're going to pull it. You're going to be looking at their report right there, what they're looking at. If there's anything on that report that they're saying something on their end and you don't see it, they have to show it to you. I'm going to tell you something. As far as your employers, the employers, they may not hire you. That's called an adverse action. And they're supposed to, by law, tell you what was the adverse action on the reason why you didn't get that job. But see, you're not going to get an adverse action because you're smarter than that. What you're going to do is you're going to pull that credit report. You know what I'm saying? And if they give you an adverse action, and let's say something, okay, all right, let's say you hard-headed. Let's just say if you're hard-headed and you don't want to pull your report. You just know what's on that report. And you get an adverse action, still, they're supposed to still tell you by law. Like some of them do, some of them may not. Because a lot of times they don't know the law. They don't know that they're supposed to tell you. That's a fact. Go read it. All adverse actions, that employer, that landlord, that bank, whoever, created have an adverse action and you didn't get that deal, you didn't get that deal, they're supposed to tell you why. If it's something on that credit report that created that adverse action, you're supposed to know about it. Don't be duped, please. Clean up your personal information. And don't embarrass yourself before you go into that bank. I'm telling you, straight up. Straight up. Because I know we be trying to do something real quick. We be trying to get out from under maybe our significant other, or maybe, trying to get out of a situation. Man, listen. You need to know what's on your reports. And let me say this: if you're trying to get out of something, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? All these folks coming in with these CPN numbers, which it's not illegal, but it's with these CPN numbers and all this junk, trying to get on these different trade accounts, other people piggybacking and all that mess. Man, listen, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is clean up your report. Clean up your report and understand the consumer law. Understand the consumer law. Look. Yeah, but I had to land my plane on that one, because that's that's something that's very important that you must do. Now, let me say something about I want to say something a little bit more about these adverse actions, and about how employers and others, like these bankers and things like, a lot of them don't know consumer law. A lot of them do not know the consumer law. Just because you go and you sit down and you get ready to get a job, that's all I'm going to tell you. We're going to pull your report. They're supposed to give you a form. They're supposed to give you a form, and now they got this thing called a permissible purpose form. If I'm not mistaken, you're supposed to get two forms. You're supposed to get an authorization and a permissible purpose form to fill out. And you're supposed to sign it. You're supposed to get it and sign it, because that's the new law now. They have to have a permissible purpose to do that. They have to have permissible purpose to pull your reports. And that's with all institutions. I don't care what they are. Anybody that pulls reports, they got to have permissible purpose. Don't go to them. Don't go to them fly-by-night credit repair companies and they, oh yeah, we got you. No, in my documents right here. Here's my documents right here. You need to have the forms right. Look, you need to have them forms. You say, okay, where's your forms? Or you challenge them. Challenge any and everybody. Where's your permissible purpose forms? I'm not signing anything, because if you don't sign something, and let's say you don't get that deal, that's on them. That's on them, because you did not hire me, and plus you didn't give me authorization for you to pull my report. So guess what? I'm going to report you. I'm going to report you. Or off the rip. CFPB, here I come. They're going to get reported. And I'm telling you, that thing pays. I'm telling you, you'll get paid for it. 15 USC 1681N, 15 USC 1681. Oh, go read it. Read that information. That information is very valuable. It's very vital to your case. If they do something inconspicuous with pulling your report without your authorization, or they don't have a permissible purpose authorization form that you have signed for you to sign. So understand that this is some valuable information. All right, plain landed on that one. Student loans. Let me tell y'all something, to you students, parents, associates, guardians, everybody that's involved with trying to help that student, finance people, even you people at the finance company. Here's some information for you. Here's some information. And listen to me clear. You have a right to opt out of them reporting on your report. If they pull your credit report, they got to give you that remember that form. But this is what I'm talking about, is opting out. You have a right to opt out. You have a right to opt out of them reporting on that consumer report for all students. You going to college? Opt out. Opt out of them reporting on your report. That's not their right. They don't have rights to do that. It's your right to opt out. And you can freeze your report. I don't know how effective that is, but I know when I did it, it was effective to the point where, they couldn't look. Nobody could look at it without my authorization. They can't even look at it without your authorization. You're gonna get a phone call or a text message or email or whatever. You're gonna get that. You're gonna get some type of correspondence. But understand that, y'all students, you have a right to opt out, and you, all you people all you finance companies, all you people that's in it with these finance companies, this is for you. This is for you receptionists. It's for all you people that work with the finance company in those student loan departments. Don't violate these kids' rights. Let these kids know what their rights are and give them a form. If they say it's okay, then that's on them. You know what I'm saying? But make sure they get a form, an authorization form for you to pull those reports. Parents, understand that, what I'm telling you. You got your child going to college upstate somewhere, in another state somewhere, make sure. If you got to pull up them forms yourself and have them already prepared and have them prepared, put in the special folder, so when they go up there, they just pull them to, because a lot of times these schools is not going to provide them documents. They're not going to provide them documents. So, but I want to land my plane on that one. Plane landed. But that's very important. That's very important. But anyway, but like I said, these credit reports is really a character witness. It's really a character witness, and and you need to know the difference between a FICO score and a Vantage score, because a FICO score, because depending on where you go to, most of them, like a mortgage, they're looking at that FICO score. And you're going in there with one scoring model and they're looking at another one. You're going to think that they're wrong, but nope, you're wrong. You are wrong. They're right. They got different scoring models on the FICO. On the FICO is different, because the FICO, what they're looking at on FICO score for what that score looks like on a house is going to be different from what it looks like on a car. It's going to look different from what it looks like on just a regular personal loan. So that's something that you need to know too. You know what I'm saying? But this whole thing is, forget the scores. I just wanted to bring that to your attention, so that's just some information that I want to give out to you. But in this case, you need to know what's on your reports. Pull your reports. Clean up your personal information and make them, and if you have to fill out some forms, you need to know with the forms, the authorizations, and the permissible purpose forms. But anyway, but that's going to be it for me. Yeah, I'm Raphael Bird. Listen, my Cash App is $4Sight 718. Whether if it's $1, $5, $10, it doesn't make a difference. Show a brother some love. Show a brother some love. You know, because I want to give out the most valuable information that I could possibly give out. And if anybody have any questions, I'm available at blindintelligence718@gmail.com. I'm gonna change it after a while, but right now that's what it is. blindintelligence718@gmail.com. You can reach out to me and I will definitely respond back to you. But give me a comment. Let me know. Leave me a comment or something so I can know, you know, where you are and what you're going through and everything like that. You know. But until next time, stay safe, stay vigilant, and most of all, stay encouraged.